How are we all doing today? Hopefully you can hear me and put some 555s in the comment. Make sure everything's good. As the solar plexus and the nervous system is energetically, going through rapid fire as we're going through the fire horse season through this year, as it's been talked about many times. As the energies are up, the energies are down. Many people are going through many different types of events, since 2020. And as we're in a spiritual war right now, not a flesh and blood war, but a spiritual war in the mind, the heart, and the soul. And it's one of those things that keeps coming up time and time again, over all the circumstances that come to us. So I'm saying today to pray, use your discernment with what I'm bringing to talk to you about, but you need to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually for all these things to happen in your reality. Many people are not working very well with themselves and with others. And the biggest thing in this time right now is that you need to be able to save yourself, because nobody's coming to save you. As many of the disciples and many of us that are on the earth now, that we're here standing in our positions and posts, bringing the content, the awareness to many people, as much society has chosen to put a divide in the soil. Not everybody is with the God, and there was designs this way, but for what the numbers and what we're at right now, there's to be a lot more, and a lot more choosing, because of all the fear and the fact that in the principalities that are turning up the heat, and they have been since wind of many that they found that are here on the earth, because these rulers and dictators that want to overlord and overrule the land, the earth, and many nations, and put nations against each other, and always a war. But it's become more imperative in this time, it's 2026, that we're coming up against, some serious, blockages. And as in my last video about putting down one of my own personal, animals, the war in the pharmaceutical and the health organization, the veterinarian world, the stuff that's been coming on the bread and circus of the media, Medea, which is basically an old Roman name, that's been coming after and targeting individuals ever since television was put on the market. Before that, we had radio and radio frequencies, that transmitted pre-war, after war. And as we got into the 1950s, there was more and more of a movement of repairing and healing of many people that got involved in many situations that wrapped up with, war, illness. And this has been going on since the early 1900s. Went on with the petroleum business. We got the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Melinda, Bill Gates. We've got the Kanakakoos government agencies. We've got the CIA. We have all the lower government officials. We have the Western world. We have a lot of dictatorship that was all over the world for a very long time. But as you've been seeing the battles in the spiritual field, even on the mainstream news, in the 3D matrix, as more and more minds are getting, programmed and deprogrammed, and the collapsing of people's reality and their consciousness and their common sense. It's becoming more aware that, as we look at the health organization and what they're really doing out there, right now we've all of a sudden hit the map with, ticks coming out of the sky in boxes on farmlands. We got Bill Gates standing there telling you that, there's another situation when it comes time to cows, and then how we have to eradicate the cows and get them off the earth because of their farts that they, are causing a global, travesty to the world environment. We've got the World Economic Forum. We've got the Mayo Clinic. We've got the CDC. We've got all these different pharmaceutical companies. Since COVID, it's been quite an interesting, scenario that's gone on with all the vaccines, and even in the from the human form to the animal group, especially when it comes time to small animals, cats, dogs, and all the other little fun furry friends that every normal human being has in their own home or, with them that they love. And a lot of those animals, they come with very much unconditional. They are unconditional love in many ways. And they're there to show and to lead and love and teach us what it is and existing on the earth. And they're connected very much with the universe, as I've said in some of my other videos. So there's always rights and wrongs and bads and goods, through the universal and the universal law, as we've got the free will. This pandemic, did a lot of effect to a lot of people, in the fear end of it. And it's going to be round right straight that most of the stuff that you're putting into your mind and what's going on in your mind is a parasitical war. And the people that are feeding the fear and the campaign are parasites. And this last week, I've noticed lots of people getting rashes and, spots and sores, inflammation, lots of things that are all of a sudden popping up that are on, that are coming out of you. We've been using this word Mandela effect for a very long time, and so as I'm just going to be popping through some of these here, as we go. Just bear with me here for a second. Mandela effect is a phenomena where thousands of people collectively share a false memory of an event and a detail. It was coined by paranormal researchers and Fiona Broomer in 2009, who found that many people vividly remember South Africa leader Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, and he was actually released in 1990 and died in 2013. Well, it's the same thing as Bill and Melinda Gates in 2013 were hung in Africa on a tree after going in, inoculating and running vaccine programs in the African thing with children. Many things have happened to children at all ends of stuff that have been put on the plate. But we'll go through many of this as we go through some of these series that, I'll be working on here. But with all of this, so he was hung in 2013, but it's how ironic in 2026 he's running around the earth right now, talking about cows that are farting and wrecking, the hemisphere and wrecking the world, and that we have to move over to these meats now, and supposedly this tick now that's on the earth is called the Lone Star. Well, Lone Star Meats is one of his. We've got synthetic meats. We've got manufactured meats. We've got, 3D meat. We got all this other meats that are going on that they want us to have, just eradicate and remove what was given under Thanksgiving of a sacrification of an animal. The cost of meat in the local stores is in a massive apparel in the rise. Most people aren't even eating meat. We have all kinds of antibiotics, all kinds of different parasites and things that are put into the meats. And we have to cook them, we have to prepare them properly to remove a lot of these other situations that come in. We have the World Health Organization and all these groups, once again, that I'll be talking about, and Medea, and many government corporations and companies and businesses, and they've all got the conflict of interest of each other and of you and for you. Spraying our skies with all kinds of different chemicals and bad things that are not good for us. Treating our waters after they've sprayed all the earth, all our plantation, all of us, all our animals. We're getting inundated with all kinds of sick anomalies that go on. We've put frequency equipment on the earth to disrupt. We've been playing scientific studies since the 1930s, 40s, analyzing, probing. In the last, since 2008, we have been bringing in people from all over the world, schools, researchers, doctors, real people, but to come into the country. And we'll use the one, first of all, Canacoos, plus the United States. Now remember, this is all one big four corner of the world. And it's all America. There's no division. The government divided all this because they weren't allowed to operate in certain parameters. Canacoos has the largest area of what's happened in our medical centers that are just as much involved in the United States as they are here. Our stage class 4 labs and all of our, pharmaceutical ends. Most doctors that are traveled around the world aren't even allowed to work in these parameters here unless they pay to play. And they have to go through all the testing and trials to make sure that they stay in line with what the CDC, Mayo, Pfizer, Merck, all these groups, all these big banks that have everything to lose, the stock market, the government. They have no interest in the human form. They have no interest in themselves. They have no interest in your animals, other than it's all about the money. And there used to be where, veterinarians were kind of off to the side. but they couldn't lose there. We've been doing so much research from whales and mammals over on the Chinese side there, doing research. We've had many paid activists to go hang off of, towers, bridges, boats, ships. But all these individuals have all got their hands somewhere in all of this. Everything from food that we consume, everything that animals have, take on there. Merck's one of the biggest companies, global American biomechanical, animal health company, headquartered out of Rahway, New Jersey. Blockbuster treatment, vaccines and preventions. Merck's produce animal health. As they say that the headquarters are there. But the funny part of it is that when you look at the Canada side of it all, and the Canadian government has got their hands all over it. They're into the FDA and the food inspection agencies and, making sure that everything from our milk, our butter, our dairy, our beef, our cows. Most farmers do not have their hands many generations now because of the government's rules and laws that they're breaking by handling anything that has nothing to do with their interest, in your best interest. And pretty well, most farmers are what are called housers, and they house and they own the quota, but they're not allowed to touch the quota. The quota gets basically looked after by researchers, scientists, and whoever else that they pay to come in and make sure that if there's a problem, or make a problem, find a problem, create a problem, so that they can go back and fix it with another problem. Because at the end of the day, we're still talking about money. And it's always going to be about the money. And we've gotten way past where it's at now, where people are so, deluged, brainwashed over what they're putting in their mouth and what they're watching and what they're consuming. That's keeping this health and the sick part of the planet going constantly. We got these bot farms. Once again, Bill Gates got all of the land mass, bringing in lawyers, government, real estate. And if you don't accept their offer, they will just take you to court and wind up expropriating the land. And that's what they've done. Now we got all these bot farms. We got these windmill farms, solar farms, got all this farmland. Everything's just been sprayed and killed off. We have all our fruits and vegetables coming out of biolabs out of California, out of, British Columbia. All over the world right now, we've got all kinds of things that are happening in government and world domination of Fortune 500s, the BlackRocks, Vanguards, all these massive built-up shell companies. But the biggest thing is the ones here that are playing, Dr. Kevorkian, the scientific studies, all the people that are going up with, NASA, the Navy, researchers, scientists, paying money to go up there and test what they're doing to the air quality of the sky, making sure the combination, is raining down properly. We got, all our resources that you're, telling you using for other things. You wonder why there's so much rail traffic. A lot of the stuff that runs down the rail systems, they use for the chemicals in the sky, Basically, all the resources that are being raped and stripped, as they tell you on the good news all day long, and then just thrown it in your face. It's a real conflict of interest when it comes time to public and people these days. But it's a real price on your head as we get back to the animals, and the defense of little animals that are getting tested on, used as pawns. Veterinarian companies, doctors, all of this has all been, bought up into these things and more, and then muscle out all the other individuals that care, It's basically got an extinction level, and it's traumatic for many people to lose someone or something, that they love and dear very much. But then there's also the soulless ones that don't give a care, and the fact is that, animals come on the earth here and they've got messages from the universe. They've got all kinds of things. They've got the unconditional love that is to be given. And then they're here as a companion, keep you company, be a part of you. You're a part of them. We have to do the best to look after them. And when we run into these problems now, and we've got groups out there that don't give a flying, wazoo, it becomes a time to start going within and asking yourself and looking around at others and going, what is all this at this point? We've got, we've got these companies that are, like I said, Merck, many of them, Pfizer, trying to make more types of vaccines for more variants, just like when they put mosquitoes out there. And like I said, when they throw ticks out there, just like when they go up in the airspace, they're just testing all day long. We've been playing scientist way too long. I sit down and have, a meal somewhere, and a young student or someone that's working a table, what are you doing for a living? Well, I'm here as an analyst. We've got people coming to the door in red vests. We got, looking for all kinds of information on people. It's all we're doing all day long, looking for information. Once we find the information, we exploit it. We throw it out there. We find out who wants to buy it, who's selling it. Then at the end of the day, there's this playing all day long. Go and you get your blood test. You go out and get all the different things that get done. They sit there and they study everything. Use your money to do it. Taxes, everything. Always calling, need more money, need more money, need more money. It's really gone wrong. And it's time to blow the doors off this, and being the guinea pig and the test pig. Maybe some of you really love doing it, but I don't think in the long end of it, you came here to get poked and prodded and everything else and analyzed all day long. It's not okay. And they're just selling you complete trash and garbage, and it's not acceptable. And even if you don't believe me or whatever, but I am the higher, and I've been watching this for a very long time. That's part of the judgment that's coming down on the earth right now. It wasn't for every person to get entangled up in all of this, and it's not for them to be taking over like they're doing. We're here to be protecting the land. We're here to be protecting the animals, the wild and the ones that we have living with us, plus the ones, and the ones that we raise, and just all living needs to be better cared for. I think for all that's better, we need to look after all the animals, the ones that are domestic and ones that are in the wild, as much as we have to look after ourselves, and for food resources, we really need to start getting involved in how our food's being handled. And it's no more to this FDAs and all these other administrations that are, calling themselves big fat names and all this other stuff. They don't have the best interest. I got a video way back there, about cork and, ivermectin and natural antibiotics that are used in the equestrian and cattle and horse and chicken, all our other animals. But we're pumping other stuff into this, And the thing is that a lot of this vaccines, a lot of this other stuff, is all parasitical. 99% of health issues, from cancers to everything, low blood pressures, diabetic, autistic, many start with a parasite. And the parasites get fed by sugars. So salts and sugars of the refined that hosts and feeds as these things, evolve. Most living bugs and organisms start out as like a parasite, larva, and metamorphoses into a bug. And like the ticks, they're like the spiders, they're like the scorpions, and many along that line. But when we all of a sudden have a special name for a tick that rhymes with a meat company, Memphis Meats, and all these different meat places that have had all kinds of questions of how they've been served and handled and how people are feeling. But just like in the produce world, they're doing the same thing with synthetic fruits and stuff, and it's causing reaction for people. And the thing is that they want to see how far they can test the envelope, how far they can stretch the elastic band. We're not here to be a test pilot any longer for this, nor are we to be dripping into our wallets and all this stuff to be pulling this out. You just got to start asking yourself in the day, why is it so important that they have all these bugs being sprayed all over the place? Why they have all these cases? Why they've got to go and make a cure for a problem that's created by them? It's one big game in this matrix at this moment, and it's not intended for people. But it seems to be playing out constantly. And as long as the fear, and as long as this keeps getting fed through the mainstream, media and the television, and they keep believing the lies of all the things that they keep throwing at you, throwing it on top of you. You got to ask why the government's interest is in our food, in our vegetables, in our energy, in our resources. Who are all these individuals? Well, see, we're still painting our skies on this backdrop. We have to find these ones and really put it out there that enough is enough with this. They're all over the world. It's a lot of talking about it. It's more awareness about it, so it's not about the awareness now. It's about stopping the ones that are doing this for humanity and health's sake. So let's find all these characters. I think this is a game, but it's not. And let's finish this. Finish what we came here to start, because this is not acceptable any longer. We need to have our nice, beautiful, sunny backdrops or sunsets without some obscured artist painting out there. Have a blessed, wonderful day. See you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share if you like what you see here. Let's start moving this in the right direction to get our blue skies back. Have a blessed, wonderful day. See you on the next one.